then so we can.
Okay, so I started the recording, David. So if you'd like to kick off the get together this afternoon, and then I will engage.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. I know that John has been doing a series of these small group meetings. We're kind of a team in flux with some Outer Banks, Minnesota, Virginia, North Carolina folks all kind of hobbled in here together. But we're here to get a refresher, get an update, and mostly answer questions and pick our Pulse founders' mind on how the best way we can go about maximizing our Pulse sales tool. And we're very happy to have John here. And thank you so much for joining us today, John.
Well, I appreciate it, David, and thank you for everybody. I'm sure it's been a busy day, and I thank you, for taking time to get together late this afternoon, East Coast time. And as David just said, the purpose of the getting together is, we kicked off about 4 weeks ago with your new Boone shopping data. And just as a reminder, this is Boone audience shopping data. It's of your individual paper, and you invited your print and digital audience to take the survey, along with the Boone papers right around you. So it's very, very local. And so I'll be happy to, answer any questions you might have about that. But the good news is it's your Boone data. It's brand new, it's fresh, and it's got over 590 business categories. We asked of your audience what their purchasing plans are for the next 12 months. So that was about 4 weeks ago. And as David said, we've been getting together in smaller groups because frankly, it's a lot more comfortable, for many of you to ask those, really important questions. And by the way, I love the questions. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's frankly what I want and what is really helpful and beneficial in making sure that Pulse does the best job we can in making sure your Pulse tools are very understandable, usable, and effective for you. So I'll just be blunt. One of the ad reps at one of the earlier Boone sessions last week said, well, I don't think Pulse is usable at all. It has absolutely no value. And so we talked about that. And we were able to, very break through, frankly, overcome some misperceptions. So I appreciated that. So there are no questions that, are off bounds. And by the way, I would encourage you to ask any things in terms of use. Lindsay gave me kind of a list to go over, and I'll be more than happy to address those. And that's the basis for our get together today. It's not me talking, it's me listening and responding. As Dan Phelan said, he put it very bluntly in the session with his group, see if you can stump me. And so I appreciate that challenge. So does anybody have any questions or anything to start our get together this afternoon? I've got some things that we can cover, but I want to hear from you first. So don't be bashful, and let's have a meaningful, very positive engagement that actually makes a difference.
Well, John, me being the extrovert that I am, I don't mind leading off. You mentioned 595 categories. Mm-hmm. Is that list grown over time, and do you feel like that is still a manageable number for the survey, or do people get survey fatigue, and does that hurt the credibility of the responses?
That's a good question. We want to make sure, first of all, our mission is to provide you with your audience's shopping intent for the businesses you call on. Okay. And obviously in each one of your community, there's quite a diversity of retail businesses, service businesses, healthcare businesses, restaurants, on and on and on. And so the survey is long. And we have been building the length of the survey, but the percentage of the people who start the survey and complete the survey has remained stable. So in other words, we could cut the survey in half and still have the same response incidence. In other words, if 100 people start the survey, the same percentage. So, we're at a sweet spot. We don't want to go any more, but we want to make sure that we have, we don't want to disappoint somebody. So, well, why didn't you ask about, a person in California said, well, you don't have organic horseshoes. So I can't use Pulse. Well, sorry, we can't ask everything. So in response to your question, David, I think it's at a good point. We got a good diversity of everything from real estate to automotive to financial to healthcare to retail, restaurants, etc. Okay.
Yeah. And how long does it take people to take the survey?
For most people, it's about 45 minutes, some people an hour. It's a comprehensive survey, no two ways about it. But the benefit of the survey is this is your audience. It's their local newspaper. They care about it. And so they want to do their part to participate and help local businesses with information. So that's why we ask them, help the local businesses. They want to hear from you. They want to know what your shopping plans are. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. So take the survey and help out the local businesses.
So that's awesome. And one follow-up there on a kind of a macro level, before we get into the specifics of the use of this. Last year when COVID hit, y'all did if I remember correctly, an abbreviated survey that which y'all put together pretty quick, in order to assess the needs of businesses as it related more or less to COVID responses, the shutdown survey, as I kind of call it in a nutshell.
Yeah, when COVID hit, obviously the world changed. Nobody had ever experienced before the lockdown, and businesses closing. So with our business,
we went back to the 12-month survey now, and do the results now mirror what we saw pre-COVID, or there are a lot of significant differences in consumer behavior in general?
It's a lot of positives. Categories relating to home are still up. People are still very focused on home. There's a lot of pent-up demand for categories like travel, which is up, but there's still uncertainty, because of the Delta variant. We've seen, those areas increase. Obviously, real estate is a hot area. So we're seeing increases there. But a quick summary: in some areas, there's pent-up demand, so we're seeing increased shopping patterns now that we just switched to a 12-month, and we'd been doing every 3 months through COVID for the last roughly a year and a half. And then in August, or actually we started the survey in July, released it, in mid-August. It's over the next 12 months, because that's what the businesses want. They wanted a crystal ball in the next 12 months. So in answer to your question, categories where there's pent-up demand relating to the home, real estate, financial services showed very well, by the way. People are, reevaluating their financial, investment plans.
Yeah, that's good information, and good for me, at least anyhow, to kind of get a little intro into the macro, the overall scene of where we're at with Pulse, because it's our research arm. It's what we use as our research. Okay. And so it's good to have a good fundamental background. We are so quick to dive into a particular business, to a particular company, and find out what the deal is there. It's good to have a little bit of perspective, I think, and that's what I was trying to do there with the lead off. So from there, we can ask some, I think, specific questions, either live from the group or from the board that we've developed.
Okay. So thank you, David, for kicking it off. So I'm going to pull up my screen here and oh, where'd it go? Okay, your team's being bashful, David, and I'll speak on Lindsay's behalf.
Okay. Well, John, do you have any of the questions that I think she sent you some that we had prepared in advance? And I think that we can start off with some of that, and hopefully that'll springboard into some follow-ups, live questions here from the group.
Okay, perfect. Well, one of the questions that was asked was, it doesn't give me the correct categories. In other words, furniture store doesn't have living room furniture. Pharmacy doesn't have prescriptions. Okay. And so what I thought I would do here is let's go live into your program. And so I'm going to switch here. So bear with me a second. So I'll go here to Pulse. And change my screen share. There we go. So I think everybody now can see the Pulse screen. Correct, David?
Yep.
Okay. So in follow-up to the questions that were asked, I prepared a furniture presentation. I logged in as a member of Lindsay's team. So I created a presentation for Brandon Furniture. So by the way, every time you create a presentation, what's cool about it is at the bottom of your login page is a list of your most recent presentations. So you got them right there at your fingertips, okay? So you just click on the little flyer icon and it'll bring up for you the presentation that I created for Brandon Furniture Store. Okay, so the specific question is, how come I can't, I think the question is, and if somebody's participating today who asked the question, why can I make a presentation for a furniture store, but I can't make a presentation for a living room business, living room furniture? Back to the macro, we asked two sets of questions, two different types of questions. The bigger question is the business type. So in this case, the business type is a furniture store. Then we follow up and ask, what do you plan to buy for your home? Living room furniture, dining room furniture, bedroom furniture, mattresses, etc. So we first ask the business type, and then we ask products or services. So the business type is furniture store. And as you can see here, products and furniture, products and services include living room furniture. So you've got almost 4,000 households at the Suffolk News Herald, and this is print and web, who are going to shop at a furniture store. But of your whole audience, 11.4%, and this is from your research. This is Boone research. This is your audience. That's what's so exciting and valuable about it. You're telling your story about what your audience is going to be doing over the next 12 months. So you've got almost 4,000 households who are going to shop at a furniture store, and you've got just over 2,000 households who are going to buy living room furniture. Okay? And so you've really got two areas of information for Brandon Furniture in this example. The big number is almost 4,000 are going to shop at a furniture store. And how much of that would you like, Mr. Brandon? And by the way, they always say, well, I'd like to get all of it. And then look at the opportunities within what our audience plan to buy for their home, including living room furniture. So let me pause. And the person who asked that question or anybody else, does that make sense? The business category and then the products and services. Are we okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the person who asked that particular question is on the call, but I get that. And furthermore, I think, excuse me, I think that we would add that, it pays to go in with a broad category as possible. Unless the guy's talking about sleeper sofas and he got a truckload of sleeper sofas in, keep the categories as broad as possible, because that keeps our audience as big as possible and the most potential market. And of course, we know that people will go into a furniture store, maybe looking for one thing and buy something else instead, or buy something else in addition to. So all of those things kind of play into that, I think.
Yeah, the whole purpose here, by the way, is to get the business interested, get their attention, open the door, so to speak, start the conversation. It's much easier to start the conversation when you're relating to their business. And let me just reinforce, and I've said it over and over in our sessions, when you engage over the phone, and by the way, when you click here, we've got the phone call suggestion words to say, we've got a suggested email you cut and paste, and we've got suggested words when you're doing a drop-in call. But each one of those, and let me just click on it, what we've got for you is what's in it for them. And what's most important is make sure they understand that all Pulse did for you was ask the questions they would ask. So for Brandon Furniture, if I walked in there this afternoon, I'd say, and I don't know if his name is Mr. Brandon, Mr. Brandon, I've got some good news. We did a furniture survey. What do you mean by that? Well, we just asked the questions you would ask. Would you ask, you plan to shop at a furniture store? And what do you think, the furniture store would say? What do you think Brandon would say? How many of you say, yeah, I'd ask you plan to shop at a furniture store? You guys are being bashful. Come on. I'm hearing silence. Do you think a furniture store would ask?
Lizzie's trying to ask a question and she's typing it. Are you seeing her question? I don't think her mic is working.
Okay. Let me go over here to chat. There we go. Not sure if my mic is working. Okay, okay, I get what I'm having trouble finding the initial list and then having to add categories and subcategories. Okay, so that's Lizzie's question. So let me go in and I'll create a presentation and show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to shut off here on the chat. And while we're at this, when you start the conversation, just remember, all we did was ask the questions the business would ask. Do you plan to shop at a furniture store? Do you plan to go to a hearing aid business? Do you plan to get a lawyer? What services do you plan to get? Okay. Do you plan to get a employment lawyer? Do you plan to get a real estate lawyer? Okay. What type of real estate do you plan to do? Do you plan to list a home, buy a home, etc.? So that's really, really important because then they understand it's about and for them. But back to Lizzie's question, okay? So I'm going to go back. I'm going to click off here, on the presentation. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find furniture prospects. So number one is the category. So we click on business categories. Up will come a list of all the 590 business categories, okay? And by the way, you can organize them by type. So we click here on category, and you've got apparel businesses. Then you've got automotive businesses. You've got community, education, etc. But specifically to Lindsay's question, so wanting first furniture stores. So the simplest, fastest thing to do is just type in furniture. Okay. And as I stated a moment ago, this is the business category, top level business category. So we got furniture stores, outdoor furniture stores, baby supply furniture stores, restoration furniture stores. And then you've got furnace, which has, F-U-R-N. I should have typed in the whole thing. Furniture. There we go. Okay. Then you click on find. Okay, we okay so far, Lizzie? Hopefully your mic's working. And then, and somebody else asked before, and this is important, when we set up Boone almost a year ago, it was set up by team. So there was a team primary geographic location, okay? And so it defaults to the team location, okay? And so you can change that zip code while this is loading and put in an appropriate local zip code, your area. So your team might be located in Virginia, but you're in Minnesota. No problem. You type in Austin up here. Good typing. Okay, and then we're going to refresh here. Looks like I'm having some internet issues. It's not loading. So let me just go over. So when you type in your own local area, then you click on the red icon, then it asks, well, I'm really frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, John. I'm just going to see us maybe back out of it and try it again. Sometimes, I don't
There
know,
we go. There we go.
something's pulling up now.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so it defaults once again to the location of your team. Okay, headquarters. You can change the zip code here. And this is one of the questions on the list. So you can put in Austin, Minnesota, then research, click on the search button, and then it'll repopulate for Austin. And now to save that, you don't have to do it each time. You click on the red tag, okay? Then you click on add. Then you can name your personal search label. And you could name it Austin, okay? And then you click on make this my home view, and then click on save. And so that question was specifically asked, and I'm sure many of you have the same question. It comes up quite often. So when you get the search results, you click on find, you change the location to yours, either with the city name or zip code. Click on the red tag, then type in what you want to name your search, then click on make this my home, then click on save. Okay? And then from that point on, it'll default to whatever you set up for your home pulse search. So let me pause there. Is that okay? Any questions on that? Okay. Very good. Now going back to Lizzie's question. So now we're going to set up a presentation for a furniture store. So I'm clicking on Twice as Nice. I also, at the same time, want to get that appointment, want the words to say to get them interested so they want to get together. So I click on phone call. We suggest you use the phone call words. Once again, it says, I'm calling because I thought you'd be interested in what we found out from a furniture store survey. And then if you got them on the phone, we ask the same questions you would ask. Do you plan to shop at a furniture store? What specific needs do you have for your home over the next 12 months? Here's a little bit of what we found out. We found out there's almost 4,000 households who said yes, they plan to shop at a furniture store. And look at this, we found out there's almost 2,000 households who plan to buy outdoor furniture. We also asked about mattresses. We also asked about living room furniture. Would you like to know more about what we found out from the furniture store survey to help you get more business? And what do you think they say? Let me fill in the blank. Yeah, I'd like to get together because it's about and for them. Nobody else has this information, by the way. This is golden because only you have it. The furniture store doesn't have it. They don't have the resources to do their own shopping survey. And they might get it from the Minnesota or the Virginia Furniture Store Association, but that's historic. You've got fresh information next 12 months, okay? And so they say, yeah, let's get together. And by the way, if you leave a message, here's our words to say to leave a message. I'll send you an email, okay? Look for an email, okay, that says, I need a sofa. And this was a suggestion by an ad rep up in New Jersey. He said, we've gotten great response when we sent out an email that the subject line says, I need a sofa. I need to change auto insurance. I need a new, XYZ, okay? It's been very, very effective. Okay, so you got the appointment now, okay? And now, so you've got, it automatically creates for your Pulse flyer. Now back to Lizzie's question. How then do I edit, modify to make sure I get in the information I want? And what she said is, how do I get in living room furniture? No problem. You just click on the editing pen. Okay, so you click on the editing pen, okay? And then look at this, you've got access to all of the details we asked that this business might be interested in. Everything from business furniture, home related, okay, lawn and garden, etc. So it's quite a list. The simplest thing to do is just in the search bar, type in living. Okay, and there you go. Furniture, living room, perfect. Okay, so we click on that and now we update. So in summary, the first step is the business type. Now it's updated your message, by the way. The first step is the business type, like a furniture store, a pharmacy. Okay, so the pharmacy, same thing. It would create, you'd first do pharmacy, select a pharmacy store, click on, phone call or click on email. It creates it for you, and then you can edit and put in prescription, which was a question that I was asked. Okay. So is this helpful?
Yeah, I have another question if that's okay.
Please.
I won't be shy.
Please.
So one of the things that we kind of had issues with was, so you see on your screen it says like 4,000 out of the 17,980 households.
Mhm.
So for ours, when we pull the flyer like that, it says that we reached like 6,500 households, 6,529. And that number is a lot lower, we feel like, than what we actually serve with print and with our online website. So I think that for us is kind of like undershooting I think it would be more impactful if it said that we served a higher number, which we do.
Well, what I did is I clicked on the editing pen, by the way, okay? And it brings up, for Lindsay Richardson's papers under her team, all of what we have for the different audience options, Hannah. And so which paper are you talking about, please?
We're actually not in that group. We're the Coastland Times, so it doesn't show up there, but we can look at it separately or whatever. But I guess my question is there a way to change that so it more accurately reflects?
Yeah, absolutely. This is extremely important because if the information in the audience is understated, not accurate, you're not going to use this. I wouldn't. I was an ad rep once. So what we need to do, and if you could send me an email, Hannah, we can update the audience for you so that going forward, the audience is now accurate, realistic, and reflective of what you actually deliver, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let me summarize. In each one of your Pulse programs, there's a drop-down list of all the papers under your team, okay? We can update those. We can also add or delete, okay? The other thing is you'll notice here there's custom audience. When you click on custom audience, you can put in a specific option that's maybe not on the list. Maybe paper A plus paper B plus a TMC, okay? Or maybe you've got a brand new, senior publication or something, or maybe you've got a fall home improvement. No problem. You just type in the name, home improvement, and then how many households? What's your distribution of it? Okay, 10,000. Okay, and then just click on update.
John, you broke up on us a little bit there towards the end. Were you asking Hannah a question?
Yeah, what I was saying, I broke up there, was that you can then change. Am I okay now, David?
Yeah, you're doing good.
Okay. And so you click on the editing pen to Hannah's question, have, Hannah send me whatever changes need to be, I'll coordinate, through Lindsay or David. Then you can also put in custom audience here. So if there's a special, maybe one time you got a fall home improvement coming up or something, or gift guides coming up, no problem. You can just type it in. Type in a name for it and type in what your distribution is. Okay, did that answer your question, Hannah?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So you'll do that for me? You'll send it to me?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
That information down at the bottom where it says John Marling, Lindsay Richardson, phone number, email address
Yes.
way down at the bottom?
Yes.
Is there a way we can get rid of that? When I present it to my customers, I mean, that's information that is not, it's not my information for my contact. I think it's confusing.
What's your name, please? I can't
Your
see your
cus-
name on the screen. Excuse me, what's your name, please?
Sarah Thielen?
Okay, Sarah, thank you. So what you're saying is, Sarah, your name doesn't come up?
No, it's a, well, it does, but this other stuff is on there too. Lindsay Richardson's team, and then all that information.
Yeah, it should have your name, your phone number, and your email. Okay?
I believe it does, but it also lists that other stuff.
Yeah, and it'll also list Lindsay Richardson team. It will list the team. We can't change that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay? But it should have your contact information. Okay?
I believe it does, but I think it gets cut off.
So that could be in your printer settings, Sarah. So do me a favor, send me a PDF or a printed of it cutting off, and I can help you with that. It should not cut off. The whole purpose is to have your contact information, on the bottom.
John, what is that little eye over to the very far right? Can't you click on that? I think it does take the entire line away if I,
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So what it does is it put in, I forgot about that, thank you. So what it does is it just goes to the source of the data. And in this case, it's Boone newspapers, okay, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. That's the region, all the Boone papers in that area. Okay? So thank you for that reminder. So thank you for your question, Sarah. So it gives you the option of having your information with the team, or it's then got the August 2021 Boone, papers in your local area.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. For any rep that has team shame, you can get rid of that.
Team shame. Okay. But let me focus on the positive here. I mean, sometimes we get hung up in the details, and that's okay. I understand. I was an ad rep once. Focus on the opportunity for the business. This is what really gets them engaged, gets them talking. It's when they realize that you've got opportunities for their specific business and specific categories they don't even know is there. And this is what gets them motivated to listen and want to know about how to reach them, i.e. with a specific campaign. Okay? Because one of the things I was going to cover today, if we had time, was some of the objections you hear. And some of the objections are, well, I don't have any money, right? There's a lot of uncertainty out in this world today with COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I spent my budget. One of the easy ways to overcome that is we've got over 2,200 households who are going to shop at a furniture store. Okay, opportunity, positive. Because what they don't realize is the opportunity that they might not be getting. Because I've made a lot of four-legged sales calls. Businesses forget about two things. One, out-of-town shopping. Okay? They also forget about online shopping. And each of those have a major impact in taking away from what they're actually getting. So when you show them the big number from your audience, that then gets their attention. And if a business says,
John,
well,
that kind of brings up, I'm sorry, that kind of brings up a couple things that I know we talked about in the pre-questions. One is sometimes the size of the market doesn't look credible because it seems outsized.
Mhm.
It seems too big.
Huh.
And I know that there was a couple of folks that had some, some questions or concerns about that. The other thing I wanted to kind of get at is when you ask these questions and people say they plan to shop at a furniture store, how specific are we in the questioning that they're actually going to set foot in an actual store versus shop online?
Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, it's furniture store, so it's very specific. So yes, okay. And then we ask them about what they plan to buy. Well, a good like clocks. So we know that 510 households are going to buy a clock. Maybe, and I don't know, they could be buying those online. They could be buying furniture, living room furniture online. We do know that roughly 33% in the average community of shopping is going out of the area. Okay, some communities it's larger, some communities it's smaller, but it's a big deal. And so to your
So John,
pardon?
what was that percentage again?
About a third on the average communities is they're not getting. And sometimes, and by the way, sometimes you'll see, and let's assume for the moment we're making a presentation to a used car dealer. The business is a used car dealer, okay? And so let's say we've got 2,200 households who are going to shop at a used car dealer, but then we asked about the product used car. And maybe, and this happens a lot, maybe you've got 3,000 households who are going to buy a used car. How come there's more purchasing for used cars than going to shop at a used car dealership? Well, the reason is that a person can buy a used car at a used car dealership, right? But can they also buy a used car at a new car dealership? Yes or no? Yeah. Can they buy a used car from a private party? Yes. Okay. And so the bottom line is there's more used cars that are planned to be purchased than a used car dealership is going to get. Why? Because people got choices. They can go to a used car dealership, they can go to a new car dealership to buy a used car, and they can buy a used car from a private party.
John, I have a question. So I think, and I know personally, I worked with this in the Gulf Coast group. They were using it long before, back before COVID. And I think everybody thinks it's a great idea and it's an awesome tool. And it was so on point, when COVID came down. But I know one of the things when we were sort of brainstorming before this meeting, one of the things almost everybody said was that, and I know, especially in smaller papers, we deal with the same customers over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's been a lot of the, seeing a lot of the times now, we've sent it to them, several times. And so it's kind of gotten to where we're not sending it. And I think that's making our usage go way down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a great tool. I really do. And for new businesses, prospecting and stuff, it's a great tool for that. But I think at first we just sent it to everyone, our people that we deal with on a weekly basis. And, now we've sent it to them and it's so we're not using it as much. What are some ways that other people, have you had that question come up? And if so,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
What are some other ways
I've already
people
showed it to them, 3 times. Okay. And so let me just be blunt. I was an ad rep once. I had a pretty comfortable relationship with a business. Okay. And I thought they were pretty good friends. Okay. And one day I got the dreaded phone call. And what do you think the dreaded phone call is?
Pulling out of the paper.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try radio for the next 3 months. Okay. And so my suggestion is with every single business, regardless of the number of times you shared this with, you've got to reinforce your value. This is brand new, fresh information. They don't have it. If I was to call up each one of your businesses or go in with you and ask them, would you like to see the latest current shopping information for, you know, a furniture store, a hardware store, you know, a chiropractor, et cetera, along with specific details. Fresh and current right now. What percent do you think they say, yeah, I'd like to see it? Sarah?
Probably all of them if they had the time.
Yeah. Well, most of them will, if you present it, you know, we ask the questions you would ask so they know it's about them. Most of them will take the time to say, well, what's going to be convenient for you? My point being is, even though you've gone out and showed it to them before, this is fresh information. It's brand new about and for their business. And would you agree with me that there's a lot of uncertainty going forward? Things are changing in this world. You know, there's the uncertainty of the pandemic. There's a lot of changes in how people are shopping. There's a lot of changes in how people are reorganizing their priorities in their life. You know, when David asked the question, what's changing? People are putting more money into their home. It's one of the things in terms of consumer shopping behavior that is changing. So the point being is, even though you've shared the business of the businesses before, be confident and how do I put this? Reinforce your relationship. Friends help friends. See, I know I showed this to you, you know, 6 months ago, but obviously things have changed. You know, Paul's asked again for you, what is your shopping plans? And I thought you'd like to see for the next 12 months what it is. And they say, in most cases, they're going to say, yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And it reinforces the value of your audience. It reinforces the fact that you're their friend, you're their consultant, you're their partner. You know, sharing information about and for their business. And I bet you they'll say thank you. Okay. And by the way, what a lot of the team members have told me is that when you go out with this new 12-month information, because there's an additional opportunity, or, and by the way, here's something else, when you go out with the new information, I would highlight and say, is there anything else you'd like to know? We also asked about ranges, ovens, freezers, dryers, dishwashers. Make sure they understand that there's a lot of questions we asked information about and for them that you might not have shared with them previously. It's a phenomenal resource of information, including, you know, office, you know, products and services. And so in summary, I was an ad rep once. Knowing what I know now today, I would absolutely share with each one of my existing customers the opportunity for their business, because I want to be their friend, I want to support, and I don't want to get that phone call. And by the way, I'd like to see some upside business. Maybe they bump the size of their weekly ad. Maybe they sign a contract for a little more. Okay. But back to the question. Some people say, well, the number's too big. You know, that there just aren't that many households going to purchase locally. Okay. And then I would just share with them, well, let's chat about that for a moment. You know, you are the expert. Our survey shows that 22% of the households said, yes, they plan to shop at a furniture store. We reached 10,000 households. That's where the 2,200 comes from. Okay. But you're the expert. What percent do you think are going to shop at a furniture store? Ask them. Don't be scared to ask them. Getting the business engaged is really positive. That's being the consultant. Okay. And what if they say, well, it's 11%? Well, 11% would be 1,100 households. That's still a big number. But the point being is, once they understand where the number comes from, then they're more confident in the reality of that number, you know, being realistic. Because here's the bottom line. That furniture store might have a customer base of only 500, maybe only 1,000. And I'll share with you a real world example. It was in North Dakota. We went into a trailer business. And the trailer business, there's not that many households going to buy a trailer. Then I went over the numbers with him, you know, what percent we're going to buy a trailer, shop at a trailer business. And he said, that's too high. And I said, well, what about out of town shopping? are there trailer stores in, and I mentioned a couple communities about, 20 miles away, 30 miles away, et cetera. Do they have trailer businesses? And he said, yeah, they do. I said, do you think some of the local people are buying over there? And here's what he said. Yeah, they darn well might be, because I have been advertising. Maybe they've forgotten about me. And so the information is a catalyst for engagement. Okay. And so, yeah, that I can see, and I've had it happen. Well, that number's too big. Well, let's talk about it for a bit. Because the reality is they're not getting their share in many, many cases. And you've just been a friend to open their eyes for them, that they realize they're not getting what they could and should getting because of out-of-town shopping. And obviously in today's world, online shopping. People can buy living room furniture. They can buy a refrigerator and get it delivered online. Things are changing. That's why this information is so darn important, to be that consultant.
John, if you wouldn't mind, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I would like for us to see if we could talk about that online shopping, because I think that's a key element. If people say they're going to shop the furniture store that we've been talking about, and then turn around and buy from an online source, I hear that from a lot of retailers, that they will come in and shop a brick and mortar store, and figure out what they want, and then go online and purchase something, presumably at a discount. Excuse me. So that's a real issue. We see that it really upsets our retailers who are paying taxes, light bills, paying for employees, having to market themselves, only to find that business getting usurped from online retailers who aren't paying any of those costs.
That's exactly right.
And so I think if we're able, and I don't really know how to do this, but if we're able to speak to the fact that, well, let's get in that conversation with those people that are going to buy, how do we sell those people? And I think it stems from our role as a consultant.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, speak to that for a minute, if you would, and how to maybe reconvert brick and mortar foot traffic into brick and mortar traffic.
Okay. Well, obviously, engaging with the information so they see that there's a bigger opportunity. So it reinforces that conversation you might already had about online, where they come in, they snoop around, and then they go back to their home and they buy that, mattress or whatever. They buy that product, online. Okay. Here's what I would suggest. I would suggest that they make darn sure that they're communicating on a consistent, repetitive basis the benefits of buying from that local business. Okay? I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, you're helping, obviously, the local community. You're helping your friends and neighbors who have jobs there. But more important, you've got somebody to talk to if there's an issue. That's one of the biggest things is you buy something online. It's hard, to return a sofa, regardless what they say. Oh, you can return the sofa, no questions asked. Yeah, right. It's not that easy. Where you could call up Brandon and say, I've got this sofa, I've got some issues with it. And, Brandon comes over. So I guess the best way is you recognize it's there and help them communicate why you should buy locally.
Yeah, that's a really good point, particularly with furniture stores who will put it together, deliver it, white glove type service. And if you've ever struggled with putting together a couch or a futon or whatever, it doesn't take much to kind of bring that horrific memory back and sell against that.
I mean, I'll be blunt. Your guys' role today, being that consultant, is more important than it's ever been. Because I think you'll agree with me that your local businesses are more challenged than any time before. And it's not just the pandemic. It's obviously they're getting hit with all of these challenges, not limited just to out-of-town shopping, COVID, online shopping. They can't get employees today. They can't get product today. It's tough. I mean, so many times, I've heard in the sessions, well, I can't advertise because I can't get product. I can't advertise because I don't have the staff, right? Well, let's find something you can advertise. Maybe you can get clocks. That's why this information is so great and getting them engaged. What can you advertise? What can you get? Here's the purchasing opportunity, and they forget about. I can't tell you how many times you share with them this information and they get the aha. They say, oh my gosh, I should be advertising X because I can get that. Or maybe I should advertise a service because I can provide this service. I mean, what I'm trying to say in so many words is this information positions you uniquely to help them find a solution they didn't even know was there in a world that the reality is I can't get product, I can't get employees. Let's find a solution together. And don't be bashful. All you have to do is just share it, start the conversation. You're not accountable, responsible for finding the solution. Just start the dialogue. You've got a resource that, once you're more comfortable and confident in, is a phenomenal tool. I'll be blunt once again. I know one of the reasons that you're in this business is you love helping these businesses. I know that's a fact. You love, finding solutions, getting results, helping their business grow. And this is a tool and a resource to achieve that. Because it goes back to what I was saying, 2 seconds ago. It's a tough world out there for them. And I'm always amazed, when I'm out in the field, I say, well, I'll give you 3 minutes. I'm very, very busy. And 45 minutes later, we got to leave. Why are they spending 45 minutes? Answer that question for you. Why is a person who said, oh, I'll give you 3 minutes, I'm too busy, why 45 minutes later are they still engaged? Why? What did they realize? Hannah, Sarah, Dawn, I can't remember some of the other names. Why are they still engaged 45 minutes later?
Because they realize you have information that they find useful,
Exactly.
or that it's something that can be beneficial to them.
Exactly. Yep. And I don't know what that is going in, but I have 1,000% confidence that you put me in front of any advertiser, anybody, and share with them the flyer here. And you can put this on your phone, by the way. And by the way, how do you put it on your phone? You just click up under here, let me just click off here. Oops. Then just click under help, and under FAQ, you just put add it to my mobile device. And all of you have a smartphone. So add it to your iPhone, add it to your Android phone, and then you've got Pulse on your phone. What's the benefit of that? Well, then when you got it on your phone, you just click on the P and it automatically logs you in. And then you just click on the presentations here and you just click on Brandon's Furniture and you've got this on your phone. And so in real time and interactive, you can click on the pen. And what else would you like to know? I'd like to know about shrubs. Okay, lawn and shrubs, great. Okay, so click on update. It's awesome because you can do it right on your phone. And by the way, since we're talking about phones, I'm going to click off here. I think the best resource and tool we have for each of you is the break-even calculator. So we're on the phone, homepage, you clicked on the P, you've got the break-even calculator, back to Brandon's Furniture. He says, yeah, I think I'll advertise. Yeah, but I don't know if I got the money and blah, 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 right? The fear of signing a contract. We've all faced that. And so let's say it's a $12,000 52-week contract, okay? It's a big deal. Okay. And it's a 52-week contract. You can change the weeks. Ask them what the customer value is. Okay. And many of them don't know. So just kind of, well, do you think it's $15,000 they're going to spend? No, it's too high. Do you think they're going to spend $500? Oh, it's too low. Do you think they're going to spend $5,000? No, I think they'll spend about $4,000. It's amazing when you go high, low, just throw out a really, really high number and then throw out a really, really low number and get them talking. And all of a sudden they say, I think it's about $3,000. Oops, wrong field. $3,000, okay? And then somebody asked me about the 50%. That was one of the questions in Lindsay's question. The 50% is just a placeholder. Because even within the furniture store business or a lumberyard business or any other business, there's a wide range in what their gross profit is. In other words, cost of goods. And don't be bashful, don't be shy. They know what cost of goods is. What's your cost of goods? Just roughly. Well, the cost of goods is roughly 65%, okay? So you just type in 65%. And so look at that. Now you've got a net customer value because you got to figure how many customers do I need based on the net value after paying for the furniture. And look at that. All they need is just 12 customers. 12 customers over 12 months. And that's out of the 2,200 that you reach are going to shop at a furniture store. And so I asked him, do you think you're going to get at least 12? You're going to get a 2x7. You're going to get 25,000 impressions on the website week after week after week after week. Do you think you're going to get at least 12 out of 2,200? And what do you think they say? A lot of them say, well, that's a no-brainer, getting 12 out of 2,000. What it does is it takes away the fear. It takes away the risk. It makes them comfortable to say yes. And so I would suggest you use on every time you're closing this little break-even calculator with their input. Let them fill in the fields on your phone. You know, what's an average customer worth? Well, I don't know. Would it be 15,000? No. Would it be 5,000? No. Would it be, I think it's about 3,000. Okay. What is your cost of goods? Just roughly. Okay. Is it 75%? Is it 20%? Okay. Well, I think it's about 65%. Okay. What happens is they realize, I love doing this with them because they go, wow, I can do this. That's a no-brainer. Only 12 customers, one a month. Okay, let's get going. It's a great little tool. And by the way, one of the things that this newspaper industry needs to do is not sell one ad at a time. You know, we got to focus on campaigns. That's in their best interest, the repetition. They're going to get a lot more business and results. And it's going to sure as heck help your commission check. Because if you've got a whole bunch of advertisers committed to 52 weeks, you're getting commissions month after month after month after month after month after month. So it's a win-win. So David, anything else you can think of that we could cover this afternoon?
Well, John, I'll open that up to the floor because I've asked the ones I wanted to get to. Does anybody have anything else while we've got John on the line? It's a great opportunity.
I'm more than happy to answer questions.
Going once.
Okay, go ahead.
Going twice. Sarah's like, go ahead, say it, end it. No, John, thank you so much. I mean, to me, I've been doing this with Cox newspapers back in the day, and I've had some experience with it for a long time. I'm a believer in it. I know it works. There are different ways to present it to different customers. Sometimes it's a formal sit-down deal, and sometimes it's in your back pocket. But knowing something about the audience from the research will never hurt you. And that's a fact.
Yeah, in closing, just every single business you're already working with, start with them, share with them the positive next 12-month opportunity. They're going to say thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, thanks for hanging in there today. John, as always, great presentation, and thank you for being here for us. And we look forward to kicking out the jams here with more pumps as we get into the fourth quarter, or BNI's first quarter, and starting strong. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks, David. Thanks, everybody. And by the way, it's marling@paper.net. If I can help in any way, marling@paper.net. Thanks.